Hey Jackals, it's that time again. Time to build my new PC. Why do I need a new PC and what components will I use? Well, let me tell you. After this satisfying peel. In the last year, I've done a lot of video editing and photo manipulation, but I've also started using Blender and Unity. As I found out, I was not able to do the content that I wanted, and while I could make some of it, most of the time it made no sense because my PC was just too slow, which means that something that should take a few seconds took minutes. And even worse, I could have multiple crashes, which is especially true when making fusion compositions in DaVinci Resolve, and also while editing this video. Now I mentioned Unity and Blender. What does that mean content-wise for the channel? I am planning on making a few Unity videos that will cover the project that I am currently working on. As for Blender, I do enjoy using it and making stuff in it, but at the moment I don't have any plans to make any videos about it. Now when it comes to the CPU cooler, this won't be a review, but I will test the stock fans and these Antec P12 fans that I will use in my case. Speaking about the case, I'll use the Jonsbo D41 Mesh, and let me tell you why I chose it. It's white, so the dust hopefully won't be that visible. It has a mesh, so there should be plenty of airflow to cool the components. The bottom is not closed off by a panel, which usually covers the power supply. Speaking of power supply, it's not installed on the bottom, and it's also not installed on the top, which you might expect, since if we look at the back, it does plug at the top. But if we take a look inside the case and follow this cable, we can see it stops at the bottom. Taking a step back, we can see that at the bottom we have a removable bay for 2 hard drives and a SATA SSD. But on top of it, we have a casing which holds the power supply. Now the cool thing about this power supply casing and the hard drive bay is that they allow different configurations based on your components. I should also mention that if you put the power supply casing all the way at the top and you have the hard drive bay installed, you can still use a 120mm fan in between, but to do so, you will need some fan silicone rivets. Likewise, you could also use an 80mm fan inside the hard drive bay, but to do so, you can only use one disc. Now the case looks cool up to this point, but does it have a unique selling point? It does. This top front mesh panel can actually be a monitor display. You could use it as an actual second monitor, but people usually use it to display just some PC statistics, like temperatures. If you want the display version, it'll cost about 120 euros, which is about double the cost of the mesh version. But at that price point, you won't find the bigger display that neatly fits inside the case. What you can get though, is the non-mesh version with the screen for $10 less. and since I got fed up with Windows, I'm making a switch to Linux. Wish me luck, and if you have any tips, let me know. I'm Simon, and until next time, Jackals, keep it digital.